Hello and welcome back to the channel. It has been a little bit since I have put out content for everybody. I'm going to be starting a new series that has been highly requested by all of you. I did one of these back around Christmas time. It was called Tradesmiths, and I did a video for every day leading up to Christmas in December. So there was 25 videos. You can check out that playlist if you're interested. I will link it above in the video as well as in the description box. Basically, in that series, what I did was run through 25 different trades, giving analysis in a shorter format than I typically do on this channel, and breaking down what my thought process was for each of the trades that I had taken. I do show record of taking them, and it was during one of our competitions called Strategy Wars. I'm going to be doing a very similar series. We just wrapped up a Strategy Wars in April, and I did record all of my trades in real time, just like you have to for Strategy Wars, which is why I like to be able to share these, especially in these trading series, because that way you're not cherry picking trades. These are real trades that I took. I had to document them throughout the whole month, as well as showing the account that I am working with and showing the progression of it and what it looks like. So you're going to be seeing all of that throughout this series, as well as a breakdown of each of the trades that I took throughout the month of April. So you are aware, for this competition, I was a part of a team called Happy Trail. It is an indicator that we offer at the trading floor. It is not required by any means in order to be able to trade like I do. I am essentially a breakout trader. I like to trade breakouts, or I like to trade breakout and retest. You will see that mostly throughout this series and how it is that I analyze the charts. The indicator is just there to help me personally. It's something that I've made up and coded because it helps to benefit me. It is not at all required, so you do not need to worry about that. Please just pay attention to the analysis and the price action that I'm explaining when I'm going through the trade and why I'm marking where I'm marking, or entering and exiting where I am. If you are interested in a trading community, the trading floor community is an educational community that helps traders get started. You can find information there, all different types of content that we provide. A bunch of different traders work in that community. There is staff to help as well. So if you guys are interested in looking for a community, you can check it out below. They are linked in my description box. If you enjoy these types of series and it's been helpful for you, please do leave a comment below and let me know that you are liking it so I can make sure that I record more of these for you guys in the future. Let's get into the video. Hello and welcome to day one of the trading series. So today is going to be reviewing the first trade that I took during Strategy Wars for April. So you'll see here my post is for April 1st of 2024. And I was working at this point, I was actually looking for a broker, trying one out that allowed MT4 still for US clients. If you're in the US and you've been trading for a little bit, you know this whole debacle that's kind of happened over the last few months. There are a few of them, and I mean a very select few brokers that still do exist that do allow MT4 for US clients. They are hard to find, and in my experience so far, the ones that I have been trialing out and using, they kind of quickly keep merging with other brokers. So I don't want to full on suggest one, especially the one that I used here in April, because they're already not the same broker that I was using. I did get my payout, and you'll see later on as we get into this series, I do show more about it. But for day one, for April 1st, I was actually still demoing them out a little bit, just trying to see how I feel about them, because it was a broker that I've never really worked with. So I was definitely checking their execution times, looking at what did the fees look like for them, just trying to play around a little bit with them, seeing was there a lag at all when I placed my trades, were there any weird wonky things about them. But yeah, so this is what I was doing on day one. So that's what you can see in my description here, where I'm writing out what I was doing for the first day of Strategy Wars in April. For those of you who don't know what any of these abbreviations might mean, just a heads up, I was working with, this is the Happy Trail team. So I was on the Happy Trail team, and I was also on a price action team. So you can be on a strategy team, which is Happy Trail, and you can be on a concept team, which was price action, stating that I was on the 1 hour time frame, and I used that as my bias. So I took the overall trend of the 1 hour time frame, and then I dropped down to the 1 minute time frame for a quicker sniper type of entry. And in this particular trade, I was a little bit late to the markets. I don't normally trade Mondays, so this for me was a day I wouldn't normally want to trade anyway, but that's just me personally. It's just not part of my trading plan. But yeah, anyway, I don't normally like Mondays. I do trade them for strategy wars though, just so that way I can help participate where I can for my team and help them get some points. So I was trading, but I did feel like the move was a little far gone on this one, so I didn't try to overextend too much on this one. It looks like I would have more than gotten my 1R for sure, but I wasn't trying to be too greedy here. I just kind of stuck to like my rules and just got what I got. So anyway, let me review this trade for you guys so you can see what it looks like, but full transparency, this is a demo account for this particular trade that I was on. I do move into my live account in a few more trades, but you'll see that I kind of toggle between trying out this broker for like a demo account. I also was working with passing an Apex account for futures because I am trying to learn to broaden my trading markets a little bit and work with futures a bit more since I am US based. So I was working with a challenge account, so you'll see that pop up a couple of times. And then I was working with my live account that I actually ended up opening a live account with one of these MT4 brokers. And I will link them below. Just know that they do quickly sometimes merge over. And since I've been with this broker that does allow US clients, they have already like merged and changed their name to a new broker. I haven't had any issues. I've gotten payouts. I haven't had problems. I actually think the new version of the broker seems to be a little bit better. But anyhow, that is my little disclaimer there. I will link them below, but I am not like gonna like blast them everywhere just because it just, I don't know how I feel about them truly just yet. All I can say is that I've gotten paid out by them for the month of April. I'm recording this in May, so I haven't finished the month of May to get a second payout from them yet. That's just how I personally work my accounts. I still stick to like kind of a prop firm payout schedule. And so I can't really comment on how consistent they are. I just know that over the last month or so, if you are interested in looking for the MT4 broker still in the US, they've already like merged in the last few months that I've used them. So from March to May, in like 2-month period, they've already merged with a new one. So do what you will with that information. But me personally, you'll see I do use them. I do open a live account with them. But you will also see that typically I use 100K for my live accounts. And I did not do that with this broker. I decided to only do 50K just in case. I didn't want to put 100K in there and potentially like have some huge issue with like getting my money back. So I did only use 50K throughout Strat Wars. Okay, enough rambling there. That's just kind of like a heads up for you guys if you are going to continue to watch the series, just so you kind of get an idea of what's going on here. Let's get into this trade specifically. All right, so we're going to look here at our 1 hour time frame. As I stated in the description, I was using a 1 hour time frame and I was using the higher time frame bias. So the 1 hour is my higher time frame. You can see that I wrote here that I did have a rejection off of a mid-level, as well as a bearish smiley face. It's an upside down smiley face. It's a bit hard to see, but I'll kind of point to it. Just know that basically I was having a rejection of the market, seeing a nice strong rejection off of the midline zone that I had marked. And that was kind of an indication that we potentially are going to be seeing a bearish market for the remainder of this day. So because of that, I was comfortable to drop down to my 1 minute and start looking for entries. I just also want to point out, if you are not used to how I mark up or what I do, I will link a video above for you guys from the original Tradesmith series that I did, where I can review how I identify zones and what they mean when I'm marking them. But just know that I usually mark a higher time frame level support and a resistance. And then usually what I'll look for is somewhere in the middle between that support and resistance. I'll usually find something that I call like a mid-level or a mid-zone. And usually that's just like another area where I'll see a decent amount of accumulation of price or price action happening. And I'll kind of just mark a zone in there, especially if my support and resistance levels are pretty far apart. Usually there's some other level in between that the market's kind of drawn to, and I'll use that as my mid-level. So that's what that means. These horizontal lines that you're seeing that are dotted are just dropped, and I kind of color code mine. So the green, and you can't see the resistance that is up here, but the green on the bottom here would be my support. There is a green one probably somewhere up at the top there that's just not showing in this screenshot. That would be my support, another green one. And then the blue is signaling my midline. So that just means that it's not as strong of a level as a support or a resistance, but it's still a decent level of price action. And in this example, I was using a 1 hour for all of them. So it's still a good, strong level, especially because I'm looking at a 1 minute as my entry time frame. So using a 1 hour as my bias and then dropping all the way to a 1 minute for my entry. All right, so here we are on the 1 minute time frame where I am on US 100, so I'm on the NASDAQ. And you can kind of read what I wrote here, but essentially what we're looking at is this zone here. So this was our mid-level zone that we broke from, and I was interested in it, so I refined it a little bit on the 1 minute and trying to just target like where would there be an entry. So I like to wait for breakouts. I am a breakout trader by nature. I like breakouts. It's what I visualize the best. So I do like to see a breakout in the biased direction that I have identified. So I've identified a 1 hour bearish bias. So I would only be looking for breakouts to the selling side. So that would help eliminate any like breakouts to the upside for right now. So only interested in bearish breakouts. And I like to see a bearish smiley face, which is the happy trail indicator, along with it, just because that helps to identify a little more bit of a momentum change for me. So that means that momentum is in my favor if I see that, as well as the breakout. So I do get that here. This was where you get a little bit of a breakout from the zone. I did wait for one more candle because I didn't love this bearish candle. It could have just been a little bit of a manipulation. It could have also just been my marking was just tiny bit off. So I really wanted to see another strong bearish candle come below where this low was to make a new lower low and truly break out of this zone that we had. I did not get in there. I was hoping for a bit of a stronger retest. So I was really hoping that the market would push down, come back up, test this area that it broke from, and help give another bearish signal to be able to kind of get in at a little bit of a better price. That did not happen. And that is the risk sometimes that happens with being a breakout trader. So if you're a break trader and a breakout and retest trader, sometimes if you're solely waiting for that retest, you do miss it. And then unfortunately, sometimes you end up having to get in a little bit later if you still decide to get in, or just missing the trade altogether, which is fine. You do whatever fits your trading plan. For me, like I said, I was willing to still get into it because I really did like the move still. I felt comfortable with it. 1 minute to 1 hour, there's a huge difference. So I was on a 1 minute time frame using a much higher time frame bias. So I knew I had a little bit of move to go still. I just didn't want to over risk it by like shooting for 2R, 3R, 4R. So I went very basic and just like marked up a 1R. And then that's what you guys are seeing here. So I did get in a little bit later. Once this move did this little pullback here, didn't fully retest, but did a little pullback. It retested this level, which and once I realized it wasn't coming all the way back up, that is what it is. I might have mismarked, or it might have only pulled back to retest that little bit, which is fine. Basically, once this bearish smiley face printed and we kind of went a little bit lower again, and then again here, and we really went lower into this zone to the left, I knew that we at that point were looking for definitely like a sell and an entry, because I was just going to totally miss the move if not. So that's why I got in a little bit later to it, and I only went for the 1R. And this was something that ended up happening for me, and I'll show you guys, like, this is where I noticed I didn't necessarily love this broker at this moment, because if you look where my take profit price is, it's 18,254, and you can see where I got out and marked at 18,250. Sometimes I'll just round my numbers, just FYI. I like to round them off. It just, for me, like mentally, and I know it's closer to like a bank number. But anyway, that's where I had gotten out at. So this is actually 18,250 is actually a little bit lower in this sell than even 18,254. So it should have been a little over a 1R. And this is where I feel like I thought I had calculated my lot size right, but perhaps I was off a little bit and needed to do like a little more with it, like just slightly more than an 11 lot. But my calculator had told me 11. And anyway, long story short, this is where I was like feeling like I didn't necessarily like the spreads and stuff that they were having, because they had changed so drastically, so quickly. And like you can see, my trade didn't run forever. Like it's a pretty short trade. Each candle was like 1 minute. So it didn't take that long for this trade to run. And in that time, the broker was changing the spreads pretty drastically. that it did kind of end up being closer to like a 6R instead of a 1R. And yeah, that was kind of my beef with this broker, especially even like on a demo, that I was like, wow, this is kind of crappy to do. But anyhow, I was grateful that they did do it because it helped me figure out how to move forward with the like trading on the live accounts throughout the rest of the competition. So anyhow, I did get the 1R on TradingView, 1R, but it really was like 620 on the actual MT4, like you guys can see. And had I actually held longer and marked up even more, I would have gotten it most likely, but I just didn't want to. Like I said, it's not the higher probability, especially when the move is already gone and is already starting to make market structure. So as you can see, we had our breakout here, we get a low, we get a pullback, we get a new lower low, another pullback, a new lower low. And I just didn't want to go too far into the market structure being created and getting in too late and trying to hold for something that just maybe wasn't the best probability of winning. Again, like I said, it's a Monday. I don't particularly like Mondays. I don't usually trade them, so I'm not all that confident in trading them. So usually I tend to be a little more cautious on a Monday just because it's not really like a day that I'm always in the market. And I find that there's a lot of liquidity grabs on Mondays. There's a lot of market manipulation on Mondays. So it's just like not a day that I enjoy trading the U.S. indices with. But if it works for you and your plan and your strategy, go for it. But for me personally, as a breakout trader, I don't love Mondays. All right, so that's what we went there. This was day one on the trade. This is my thinking. It really is a pretty clear 1 hour higher time frame bias with a rejection off of a level, drop to the 1 minute time frame, refining my zone, finding a nice little zone on the 1 minute that is within that bigger zone on the 1 hour, and then looking for the breakout of it, and then waiting for potentially a retest or a continuation of the trend and looking for an entry. I'll be honest, probably not my favorite trade, not the cleanest of them either, but it is what it is, and it was day one of Strategy Wars, so this was a trade that I did place. Again, this was 100% a demo account. I did not actually make $620 on this one. This was just for purely testing, but demo accounts do count in Strategy Wars for points, so I did get points from my team for this day. But the next video you guys will see will actually be me starting up the challenge that I was taking on Apex. So you'll get to see a little bit of that challenge in this series, as well as moving into the live accounts, and you'll be able to see what I ended up actually grossing for the month of April. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching video one. I hope it was helpful, and I will see you for day 2 of the trading series.